3 years after Marcus stole my idea, Team Flow had become something I never could have imagined. We'd grown to over 500 paying clients. Companies from startups to Fortune 500 organizations were using our platform to help their creative teams collaborate more effectively. I'd built a team of 12 incredible people who shared my values around integrity, transparency, and genuine service to our users. We'd been featured in major tech publications, not because of scandal or drama, but because we'd built something truly valuable. And most importantly, I'd built it the right way. No shortcuts, no betrayals, no stolen ideas. Every feature, every design decision, every strategic choice was made with our users' best interests in mind, not just our bottom line. We were profitable. We were growing sustainably. And we were making a real difference in how creative teams work together. Team Flow had become everything I'd hoped Creative Hub would be, just in a different form, in a different market, and built entirely on my own terms. The best part? Every success felt earned, genuine, mine. When clients told us how Team Flow had transformed their creative workflows, I didn't have to wonder if the foundation was built on lies. When we hit revenue milestones, I didn't have to share the victory with someone who'd betrayed me. When industry leaders reached out for partnerships, I could engage with complete confidence in our integrity. I'd learned something crucial through this journey. Sometimes losing what you thought you wanted leads you to something better than you could have imagined. If Marcus hadn't stolen Creative Hub, I might have spent years building a B2C platform in an overcrowded market, struggling to differentiate and gain traction. Instead, I'd found a niche that was underserved, a market that desperately needed what I was offering, and a business model that was sustainable and profitable. The betrayal had forced me to pivot, and that pivot had led to genuine success. I'm not saying I'm grateful for what Marcus did. The pain was real. The betrayal cut deep. The loss of that friendship still hurts when I let myself think about it. But I am grateful for what I discovered about myself in the aftermath. I discovered resilience I didn't know I had, strength to rebuild when everything felt broken, wisdom to choose a better path forward. I discovered that my value isn't determined by who believes in me or who steals from me. My value is inherent in what I can create, what I can contribute, and how I treat people. And I discovered that success built on integrity is infinitely more satisfying than success built on shortcuts and betrayal. Marcus had his moment of glory with Collective Creative, his launch day, his press coverage, his victory. But it was hollow, built on sand, and it crumbled accordingly. My success with Team Flow has been slower, quieter, more gradual, but it's solid, built on rock. And it continues to grow because the foundation is strong. That's the difference between stolen dreams and earned ones. Over the years since this happened, I've had countless people reach out to me with their own stories of betrayal. Friends who stole ideas, business partners who cut them out, colleagues who took credit for their work, family members who exploited their trust. The details vary, but the pain is always the same. That gut-wrenching feeling of being violated by someone you trusted. If you're going through something similar right now, here's what I wish someone had told me when I was in the depths of that pain. First, your feelings are valid. You're not overreacting. You're not being dramatic. Betrayal by someone you trust is genuinely traumatic. Allow yourself to feel the anger, the hurt, the confusion. Don't try to rationalize it away or convince yourself you should be over it already. Healing has no timeline. Take the time you need. Second, document everything immediately. Even if you're not sure what you'll do with it, create a comprehensive record of what happened. Save messages, emails, files, timestamps, anything that proves your version of events. You might never need it, but if you do need it, you'll be grateful you have it. Third, don't make major decisions in the heat of emotion. When I first discovered what Marcus had done, I wanted to burn everything down. Public exposure, lawsuits, scorched earth. If I'd acted immediately, I might have made decisions I'd regret. Give yourself time to process before deciding on your course of action. Rage is a terrible strategic advisor. Fourth, consider the cost of every path forward. Legal action sounds satisfying, but it's expensive, time-consuming, and uncertain. Public exposure sounds vindicating, but it can backfire and keep you trapped in the narrative. Moving on sounds like giving up, but it might be the path that preserves your peace and future. There's no one right answer, but consider the real costs, financial, emotional, time, and opportunity of each option. Fifth, your success is the best response. Nothing proves your value more than building something genuine and successful. Let the betrayer have their stolen glory. You go build something better, something real, something that lasts. Success built on integrity will always outlive success built on theft. Sixth, set boundaries ruthlessly. You don't owe your betrayer closure, forgiveness, or access to your life. If they reach out, you get to decide whether to engage or not. And whatever you decide is valid. Forgiveness is not required for healing. Sometimes the healthiest choice is simply to move forward without them. Seventh, rebuild your trust carefully. Betrayal makes you want to never trust anyone again. I understand that impulse. But isolation isn't the answer either. Humans need connection, collaboration, community. The solution isn't to stop trusting. It's to trust more wisely. Start small. Look for people who demonstrate integrity through consistent actions, not just words. Build trust gradually, and protect yourself appropriately while you do. Eighth, find meaning in the pain. This sounds like therapy speak, but it's true. Painful experiences that teach us nothing are just pain. Painful experiences that change us and make us wiser become growth. What can you learn from this betrayal? About people? About yourself? About how you want to live your life? The lessons don't justify what happened to you, but they can give the pain purpose. Ninth, remember that their character isn't your fault. Someone stealing from you or betraying you doesn't reflect poorly on you. It reflects poorly on them. You weren't stupid for trusting. You were human. You were kind. You were generous. The problem wasn't your trust. The problem was their lack of integrity. Don't let their failures make you doubt your worth. Finally, you will survive this. I know it doesn't feel like it right now. I know the pain feels endless and the injustice feels unbearable. But you will get through this. You will heal. You will build something new. The betrayal will always be part of your story. But it doesn't have to be the defining chapter. You get to write what comes next. Make it a good chapter. Today, as I write this, it's been 5 years since I first discovered what Marcus had done. 5 years since my world imploded in that moment of scrolling through social media and seeing my stolen dream on someone else's banner. Teamflow is now a multi-million-dollar company. We've expanded beyond creative teams to serve any collaborative work environment. We have over 2,000 clients worldwide and a team of 35 people. We're not a unicorn startup. We're not chasing explosive growth or billion-dollar valuations. We're a sustainable, profitable company that solves real problems for real people. And I'm incredibly proud of what we've built. More importantly, I've built a life I'm proud of. I've surrounded myself with people who share my values, colleagues who demonstrate integrity, friends who've proven trustworthy through their actions, not just their words. I've learned to be more careful with my trust, but I haven't become cynical. I still believe in the power of collaboration, community, and genuine connection. I just choose my collaborators more wisely now. I've also maintained strict boundaries around Marcus and anything collective creative related. After our conversation 2 years ago, we haven't spoken. I've kept to my word about needing him to remain in my past. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he's working at a marketing agency now, not running his own company anymore. Apparently, he's become more humble, more thoughtful about ethics in business. Maybe his own failures taught him what my friendship couldn't. I hope he has learned. I hope he's grown, not for my sake, but for the sake of anyone who might trust him in the future. But his journey is no longer my concern. As for Creative Hub, the original concept that started this entire saga, I finally made peace with it. About a year ago, I did something that felt both symbolic and practical. I open-sourced all my original Creative Hub documentation. I published it on GitHub with full timestamps, showing exactly when each element was created. I included my original notes, wireframes, strategy documents, everything. I titled it Creative Hub, a 2022 concept for creative professional networking historical documentation. In the description, I wrote a brief, factual account of the concept's origins and a note that it had never been built by me due to circumstances beyond my control. I didn't name Marcus. I didn't describe the theft. I just documented the truth and made it available to the world. If anyone ever searches for information about the origins of certain ideas in creative professional networking, they'll find my documentation. Time-stamped, verified, indisputable. That felt like enough closure. The ideas are out there now, free for anyone to use, build upon, or learn from. And the historical record is clear. That's all I needed. If you're listening to this story, you might be wondering what the point is. Why share something so personal, so painful, so specific to my experience? Because betrayal isn't rare. Idea theft isn't uncommon. Friendship violations happen every day. And yet, we don't talk about it enough. We celebrate the success stories, the triumphant launches, the innovative founders, the disruptive companies. But we rarely talk about the people behind the scenes whose ideas were stolen, whose contributions were erased, whose trust was exploited. We don't talk about the emotional toll of betrayal in professional settings, how it affects your mental health, your future relationships, your willingness to take risks. We don't talk about the difficult choices you face when someone wrongs you, the complex calculations between justice and peace, between fighting and moving on. I'm sharing my story because I want you to know. If this has happened to you, You're not alone. Your anger is justified. Your hurt is valid. Your struggle to move forward is understandable. But I also want you to know, you will survive this. You will rebuild. You will create something even better. The betrayal doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. You can choose bitterness, or you can choose growth. You can choose revenge, or you can choose building something better. You can choose to let the betrayer occupy your thoughts forever. Or you can choose to reclaim your narrative and move forward. Neither path is easy. There's no wrong choice. But there is a choice that leads to peace, and a choice that leads to perpetual pain. I chose peace. I chose building. I chose moving forward. And my life is richer for it. That doesn't mean what Marcus did was okay. It means I refuse to let his actions determine my future. Beyond personal betrayal, there's a broader message here about the culture we create in business and entrepreneurship. We glorify hustle culture, growth at all costs, disruption without ethics. We celebrate founders who move fast and break things without asking what or who they're breaking in the process. We need to do better. We need to create a culture that values integrity as much as innovation. That celebrates ethical building as much as rapid growth. That holds people accountable for how they achieve success, not just whether they achieve it. Because every successful company built on stolen ideas, exploited workers, or betrayed partners contributes to a culture where those tactics are normalized, and that culture hurts everyone in the long run. If you're building something, build it with integrity. Even when shortcuts are tempting, even when theft seems easier than original work, even when betrayal might accelerate your timeline. Because success built on lies is a house of cards. It will collapse eventually. And when it does, you'll have to live with what you did to get there. Marcus learned that the hard way. I hope others can learn from his example without having to experience the same collapse. As strange as it sounds, there are things I'm grateful for that came from this painful experience. I'm grateful for the clarity it gave me about what really matters. Before the betrayal, I was obsessed with external validation, investor interest, press coverage, being seen as successful. After the betrayal, I realized that none of that matters if it's not built on something real and ethical. Now my metrics for success are different. Am I proud of what I'm building? Am I treating people well? Am I creating genuine value? Is my work aligned with my values? Those questions matter more than funding announcements or TechCrunch articles. I'm grateful for the relationships that deepened through this experience. My sister, who sat with me through the darkest moments and refused to let me give up on myself. The friends who stayed close even when I was difficult, angry, and obsessed with my pain. The therapist who helped me process the trauma and find a path forward. The lawyer who gave me straight advice even when I didn't want to hear it. These people showed me what real loyalty looks like. They demonstrated the kind of friendship Marcus never actually embodied. I'm grateful for the resilience I discovered in myself. I didn't know I could survive something like this. Didn't know I could rebuild after having my dreams stolen. Didn't know I had the strength to create something even better. But I did. And now I know I can handle whatever challenges come my way. There's a confidence that comes from surviving betrayal and coming out stronger on the other side. I'm grateful for the business lessons I learned the hard way. I protect my ideas now. I document everything. I'm strategic about what I share and with whom. I understand intellectual property law. I know how to build with integrity while still protecting myself. These are lessons I might never have learned if everything had gone smoothly. I'm even grateful, in a strange way, for the pain itself, because the pain meant I'd cared deeply. It meant I'd been vulnerable enough to trust. It meant I'd been brave enough to dream big and share that dream with someone else. The capacity to feel that kind of pain is inseparable from the capacity to feel deep joy, love, and connection. I don't want to become so hardened that I can't be hurt. I just want to be wise enough to protect myself while remaining open to genuine connection. And finally, I'm grateful for the story. Not because I enjoyed living through it, but because it's a story that might help someone else. If my experience can spare even one person the pain I went through, if my lessons can help someone protect themselves or heal faster, then the experience had value beyond what it taught me personally. Our painful stories, when shared wisely, become gifts to others walking similar paths. That's the only redemption I can find in betrayal. Not that it happened, but what we choose to do with the lessons it taught us. 5 years ago, I was a different person. Naive, perhaps, trusting to a fault, eager to share my ideas and collaborate openly, believing that good intentions and hard work were enough to protect you. I've changed since then. Not entirely, but significantly. I'm more careful now, more strategic, more protective of my work and my energy. Some people might call that jaded. I call it wisdom. I still believe in collaboration, but I choose my collaborators carefully. I still believe in friendship. But I understand that not everyone who calls themselves your friend has earned that title. I still believe in dreaming big. But I protect those dreams until they're strong enough to withstand the world. I'm also more confident now. I used to seek validation from others. Needed people to believe in my ideas for me to believe in them myself. Now I trust my own judgment. I know what I'm capable of. I don't need external validation to move forward. That confidence didn't come from success, though success helped. It came from surviving failure and betrayal and still choosing to build again. It came from proving to myself that I could rebuild when everything fell apart. I'm also more compassionate than I expected to be. I thought betrayal would make me hard and cynical. And for a while, it did. But as I healed, I realized that hurt people. Marcus's betrayal of me came from his own insecurities, his own fears, his own character flaws. That doesn't excuse what he did, but understanding it has helped me let go of the anger. I can look at him now, not with hatred, but with a kind of sad understanding. He made choices that cost him nearly everything: his integrity, his reputation, his company, and a genuine friendship. Those are heavy prices to pay. He'll carry that weight for the rest of his life. I don't need to add to his burden. I just need to stay clear of it. I'm also more intentional about the legacy I want to build. Before all this happened, I wanted to build something big and impressive. Something that would make people notice me, validate me, prove I was worthy. Now I want to build something good, something ethical, something that genuinely helps people, something I can be proud of when I look back on my life. Team flow is that thing, not because it's the biggest or the flashiest or the most funded, but because it was built the right way, with the right intentions, treating people with respect and integrity. That's the legacy I want. Not market dominance, not unicorn valuation, not TechCrunch headlines. Just the quiet satisfaction of building something good and doing right by people along the way. And finally, I'm more grateful for the simple things. Before the betrayal, I was always chasing the next milestone, the next goal, the next achievement. I was never satisfied with where I was, always focused on where I wanted to be. But nearly losing everything taught me to appreciate what I have. A business that allows me to work on my own terms. A team that respects and supports each other. Friendships built on genuine trust. Mental and physical health. Peace of mind. These aren't flashy accomplishments, but they're everything that matters. There are things I never said to Marcus during our final conversation. Things I thought of later, in those quiet moments when memories resurface unexpectedly. I'll never send these words to him. This isn't for him. It's for me. And perhaps for anyone else who needs to say things to someone who hurt them but can't or won't. Marcus, here's what I wish you understood. You didn't just steal an idea. You stole 2 years of my life that I can never get back. You stole my faith in friendship. You stole my ability to trust people easily. Every new collaboration I enter now comes with a wall of protection that didn't exist before you. Every time I hesitate to share an idea, that's you. Every time I document something obsessively to protect myself, that's you. You fundamentally changed how I move through the world. And not for the better. I hope the brief glory of Collective Creative's launch was worth it. I hope those few months of feeling like an innovative founder were worth destroying a decade-long friendship. Because that's what you traded. A genuine relationship for a temporary high. I hope you understand now that success without integrity is meaningless. That what you build on lies will never stand. That shortcuts always have costs, even if you don't see them immediately. I hope you've learned that ambition without ethics makes you exactly the kind of person no one should trust. And that reputation, once destroyed, is almost impossible to rebuild. But more than anything, I hope you've learned to value people over outcomes, to see relationships as more than just opportunities, to understand that some things like loyalty, trust, and genuine friendship are worth more than any business success, because that's what you failed to understand when you made your choice. You thought the idea was the valuable thing. You thought getting to market first was what mattered. You thought execution and funding and press coverage were the ultimate goals. But you were wrong. The valuable thing was having someone in your corner who believed in you enough to share their dreams, who trusted you enough to be vulnerable, who considered you family. And you threw that away for something that collapsed within 2 years. I don't know if you've truly grasped the magnitude of what you lost. Not Creative Hub that was never yours to lose, but the person who would have stood by you through anything, who would have celebrated your genuine successes and supported you through failures. You lost someone who actually cared about you as a person, not just what you could do for them. That's the real tragedy here. Not that you stole an idea, but that you valued an idea more than a human being. I hope you never make that mistake again with someone else. And I hope whoever comes into your life next, you treat them with the loyalty and respect you failed to show me. Not because you owe me anything that debt can never be repaid, but because they deserve better than what you gave me. Everyone deserves better than that. So what's the point of all this? What's the lesson here? If I could distill everything I've learned from this experience into one core truth, it would be this: your integrity is the only thing that's truly yours. Everything else can be stolen, copied, or lost. But no one can take your character unless you give it away. Marcus stole my idea. He stole my timeline. He stole the satisfaction of being first to market. But he couldn't steal my integrity. He couldn't steal my ability to build something genuine. He couldn't steal my character. Those things remained mine, even in my darkest moments. And ultimately, those are the things that determined our outcomes. Marcus chose shortcuts, lies, and betrayal. And he built a house of cards that collapsed. I chose integrity, honest work, and ethical building. And I built something that stands strong. That's not karma or cosmic justice or divine intervention. That's just the natural consequence of the choices we made. The second lesson is this: how you do anything is how you do everything. Marcus didn't just betray me in this one instance. His willingness to cut corners with our friendship was the same willingness that led him to cut corners with user privacy at Collective Creative. His willingness to lie to me was the same willingness that made him lie to investors, users, and ultimately himself about the foundation his company was built on. Character isn't situational. It's consistent. If someone will betray you in small ways, they'll betray you in big ways when the stakes are high enough. Pay attention to how people treat others, how they talk about former friends and colleagues, how they justify questionable decisions, how they respond when no one is watching. Those patterns will eventually affect you too. The third lesson: build for the long term, not the short-term win. Marcus optimized for speed. He wanted to get to market first, get funding first, get headlines first. And he did. He won the race. But business isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. And cutting corners to win the first mile means you won't finish the race. I built slowly, carefully, ethically, without the pressure of stolen timelines or the fear of being exposed. And that steady, honest building created something sustainable. The fourth lesson: your reputation is built in moments of choice. Every time Marcus had a choice between easy and right, he chose easy. And each choice compounded until his reputation was destroyed. Every time I had a choice between revenge and building, between exposing him and moving forward, between bitterness and growth, I tried to choose the path that aligned with who I wanted to be. Those choices built a reputation I can be proud of. Your character is formed in those small moments when no one is watching, and the easy path is tempting. Choose carefully. Those choices add up to become your life. The final lesson: success without meaning is empty, but meaning without success is still valuable. Even if team flow had failed, even if I'd never built anything successful after Marcus's betrayal, even if I'd spent the rest of my life in a regular job with my big dreams behind me, I still would have had meaning, because I'd have known I did the right thing, that I built with integrity, that I treated people well, that I didn't become the villain in someone else's story. That has value independent of outcomes. But here's the beautiful truth: Integrity and success aren't opposites. They're complements. Building with integrity doesn't guarantee success, but it creates the conditions for sustainable, meaningful success that doesn't crumble under scrutiny. And that's the kind of success worth having. If you've made it this far in my story, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sitting with this difficult, messy, painful narrative. I hope something in this story has resonated with you. Whether you've experienced betrayal yourself, whether you're navigating a difficult decision about trust and collaboration, or whether you're simply trying to understand the complexities of human relationships in professional spaces. Here's what I want you to take away from this. If you've been betrayed, you will survive this. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know the pain feels endless. But you are stronger than you know. You will rebuild. You will create something new. And the betrayal, as much as it hurts, will teach you lessons that make you wiser, more resilient, and ultimately more successful. Don't rush the healing. Don't force forgiveness. Don't minimize your pain. But also don't let the betrayal define your entire future. You get to write the next chapter. Make it a good one. If you're afraid of being betrayed, don't let fear close you off from genuine connection and collaboration. Yes, protect yourself. Yes, be strategic. Yes, document and create appropriate boundaries. But don't let fear steal your openness, your generosity, or your willingness to dream big and share those dreams. The risk of betrayal is real, but the cost of never trusting, never collaborating, never being vulnerable is higher. Find the balance. Protect yourself wisely while remaining open to genuine connections. If you're tempted to take shortcuts, please don't. I'm begging you, as someone who watched the aftermath of that choice, don't convince yourself that stealing, betraying, or cutting ethical corners is worth it. It's not. It never is. Whatever you gain through those means will be hollow. It will crumble, and the cost to your character and reputation will be far greater than any temporary win. Build something you're genuinely proud of. Build something that can withstand scrutiny. Build something that doesn't require lies to sustain. That's the only success worth having. If you're currently successful but built on questionable foundations, it's not too late to change course. It's not too late to make amends, to rebuild with integrity, to become the person you want to be. Marcus waited until everything collapsed to face what he'd done. Don't make the same mistake. Own your mistakes early. Make things right while you still can. Build the reputation you want to have, not the reputation that circumstances have created for you. If you're building something right now, build it with integrity. Even when it's harder. Even when shortcuts are tempting. Even when everyone around you seems to be cutting corners and winning. Build something you're proud of. Something that reflects your values. Something that treats people well. Because at the end of your life, that's what will matter. Not the funding rounds or the acquisitions or the press coverage, but whether you built something good and treated people right along the way. And if you're simply trying to navigate this complex world, lead with integrity, but protect yourself appropriately. Trust people, but verify. Be generous, but not foolish. Dream big, but document everything. Find mentors who demonstrate ethics alongside success. Build friendships based on consistent actions, not just nice words. Create partnerships with clear agreements and mutual respect. And remember, your character is the only thing you truly control. Make it something you're proud of. My story with Marcus is over. That chapter is closed. The book shelved in the library of my past. But my story continues.